everybody. How's it going? I've been on a long trip. I've been driving from the Yukon to Iowa, and I'm in Iowa this month of July, spending time with family. And as you can tell, my throat's a little bit stressed. It is what it is. I just wanted to share a moment with all of you. I'm kind of by a playground here, a big tree, some shade. It's a really sunny morning, it's beautiful blue sky. I got a big giant Casey's coffee. Why? I go through these phases where I drink coffee and these phases where I don't. And my throat could really use a break, I think, from coffee and communication. But I've been going through so many experiences, you guys. Man, I have so much I want to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. I know that whatever I go through in my life, it will make sense to somebody out there who is going through something similar, even if the storyline is different. Perhaps the emotional state or the reflective part of it, maybe the fear, maybe the insecurity, maybe the emotional side. I don't know. We will relate to each other. We'll totally relate to each other. We are not different. It's separated. We are so alike and different, but relatable. My life isn't just a human life, a personal life, with things that you could say make sense in everyday reality. I have a weird side of my life, which is just because I live in an interdimensional universe. We all live in an interdimensional universe. So your experience can be, there's a tree, there's the blue sky, there's my car, there's my giant Casey's coffee, there's my strategy for today. What am I going to make for dinner? I don't know. Maybe I'll just swing by and pick something up. You know, that's day-to-day life, right? Go to work, get some sleep, get a shower, stuff like that. And now you add an additional dimension to that. When you realize you're not alone, in between day-to-day life, you exist interdimensionally in every reality in all of time. My car just turned off. I tell my car, no, you will stay on. And I will enjoy this air conditioning a little bit longer. All right, anyway. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I've been thinking deeply about something. And I don't know why I have to say this. Shouldn't have to say this, but the world that we're living in is it's presenting itself as extremely vulnerable to unique opinions, which I don't think are all that unique. But if the opinion goes against what we need to be supporting right now, you might as well be a witch that needs to be burned at the stake, you know? So I'm always evaluating the physical reality, the real world reality, and then the alternative experiences that I have. And I'm like a Sherlock Holmes. I explore all the clues, all the way it affects me emotionally, all the different dimensions of how it's presenting itself, and what feels like genuine truth and what feels like manipulation. And I'm doing this all day long. It's like, I guess, my fun thing that I do. That's why when I do journeys for people, I'm literally listening to every single element of clue that comes to me in the scenes that are presented related to the goals, right? Because I want to provide perspective and energetic transformation for whatever the knot is we're exploring today. And through communication and connection and love, we can conquer it all. You know? So I had these two dreams, and this is about the woke movement. I am not a scientist. I don't know what the statistics are. I had an uncle who was gay, although I don't have any confirmation of that. I'm pretty sure he was gay. And he separated himself from our family, and he died of alcohol abuse. This is during a time when people who were different like that were not welcome, or weird, are gross, are freaks. I don't know if he was treated that way or not. Maybe he felt that way. Maybe it wasn't really that way, but perhaps that inspired that alcohol abuse. Perhaps that inspired him to separate himself. So I know what it's like for people who are different, who are homosexual. In my own way, I do know what their struggle is, and I'm quite certain that might be why my uncle died the way that he died. So I should be a big supporter of this woke movement. What I'm a supporter of is I like unique individual people who have their own style, and people who jump on a bandwagon because they're insecure and they're trying to find themselves in a group of others who are also insecure trying to find themselves isn't the answer. I'm not supportive of that. I'm supportive of we need to learn how to love each other for the way that we honestly are. Like, I could love my uncle for the way he just was. Was the rest of the world able to love him for the way he was? So obviously the message is vulnerable because it's about a topic that I need to say I am a supporter of this. I'm not a supporter of the manipulative side of it. As I know what this human race is vulnerable to. I want to see strong human beings who understand what real love is. So I had these two dreams that were not of myself. How was I to know that? Because I'm highly sensitive and I'm constantly self-observant, self-aware, and I ask questions about literally everything all the time. And I was asking questions about, what do these dreams mean to me? What are they saying to me? And I did a journey into the energy that I felt influenced these dreams outside of myself. The first dream was I had been in a relationship with a woman for a long time, was the story of the dream. And I was kind of, it wasn't me to be so aggressively distant to my lover, okay? Who was this girl who was singing songs to me every day and was devoted and dedicated to this relationship. And I was this sort of bitter, bah humbug type and distant, and she was devoting everything of her being to bringing joy to me. And it made me feel weird. And I kept asking her, I don't remember ever dating you. I don't remember how we ever were together. I don't remember how I even know you. I kept saying this to her in the dream, but I kept going along with, well, we must be in a relationship because she's quite certain we are in one, and maybe there's something I'm missing here. And she kept singing songs to me and saying, I will never stop loving you. We're meant to be together. We've been together forever. It's like, so I woke up and it was strange. And it wasn't like what felt like a natural dream. It felt like an implanted dream, okay? And I'm specifically a woman who likes men. It's the way it's always been. I did try to explore when I was in college, is it possible I could like women? Is it possible? And I imagined a woman naked, and I imagined myself touching this naked woman, and I was like, ugh, gross. Because I'm just a heterosexual type person. That's just the way that I am, you know? I think that's natural. And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with people who genuinely like the same sex. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like people who genuinely want to present themselves a woman as a man and a man as a woman. And they genuinely this is who they genuinely are. My God, we need to celebrate these people because they are literally one of a kind. We don't need to force the whole world to become this, though. We can't. How is that a solution to force the world and children to become something? Put on this costume. It's really who you are. And if you were to say that wasn't you, then there must be something wrong with you. So that there would be something wrong with me to not find an attraction to women. There would be something wrong with me to not be open-minded to, let's say, transforming myself into a man. You have no idea how ludicrous this is to me. I actually went through experiences that blew my mind, as in I stepped into the body of a man in a past lifetime, and in other experiences as well, where I was making love with a woman and I had the full male parts, I had the full male experience. And I know what it's like to be a man making love to a woman. And it was weird, okay? Because I'm a woman, right? And I'm not a man. But when you have psychic experiences, that stuff happens. So it allows you to value men and women and sexuality. There's even lifetimes where sexuality was so intimate and I got to experience being the woman and the man making love to us both as one. And it's like this Palladian sexual connection that was absolutely off the charts. And I feel like the human race could aspire to this with our lovers. Whether it doesn't matter what your lovers, it's what you're attracted to, right? So the second dream was really odd. Again, it was like an implanted dream. I really felt like the government is created a wavelength, and in that wavelength, they had imprinted a story. They had imprinted a song, basically. They'd imprinted a commercial. They'd imprinted, and then somehow are releasing this into our atmosphere. And then we are picking up on it in our dreams. And it's becoming so natural that our dreams would just include these homosexual relationships. Or what I had in the second dream was I had the password, which was woke, to get into a dressing room. And all the love of the universe was there, okay? Welcoming me to try on another body, to try on another genitalia, to try on... And of all ages, this dressing room was for every age. And we were welcomed, okay? And I was so confused, and I say, why am I here? Why am I not okay to just be this body? Why do I need to be some other body? I don't understand. And it was just like these arms that were like, yes, 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 okay? It was like this, everybody was welcome. And I found it interesting that that energy wasn't necessarily let down, that I didn't want to change, but it kept telling me that I should continue to reflect on being open-minded to change, okay? I woke up from that dream and I said, where is this coming from? Because the frequency of it wasn't a dream. That's why I thought it's a conspiracy theory idea in the world that we live in. Could that be so far-fetched? Anyway, now imagine that's true. And imagine this is our children, our babies, our unborn babies. Like all ages are receiving the same signal. And now we're all becoming more and more and more open-minded, okay, to what is this open-mindedness. All right, this is a conversation about open-minded versus judgmental. Am I a judgmental person if I were to say I am not going to change my sexual interest? I am not going to open the door to now liking women and to changing myself into a man, to be the most open-minded person I could possibly be. And truly, I don't have to do that because I can just close my eyes and be a man anytime I want to. I can go have sex with a woman or another man if I want to. I can go to another lifetime and have an extraordinary intimate memory from being Pleiadian as a woman having sex with a man, as the man having sex with myself, and it's freaking amazing. I don't have to change anything about myself to do that. Why do I have to change me? Why do I have to change me to be open-minded? And if I just am to say I don't want to change that, I like people for the way they are, but I want people to be truly themselves. And the world is getting so confusing that people really don't know who they are anymore. And maybe that's a solution. I feel that there is an alchemy of truth, okay, that exists. You have a seed, plant the seed in the ground, you water it, get the right sunlight, it grows. In time, will become a little seedling into a ginormous tree, okay? And the fantasy is, that it just becomes a tree. The fantasy is, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any dang sense. There's a process here. It's so important that we really explore the truth, the alchemy of truth. What's really going on here? Who really am I? Is that really me? Or is that me trying to fit in somewhere? Is that me not loving myself for the way that I am? Is that me wanting to find a solution that's really just adding to the problems? Is that me afraid to say no? So I did this journey into what was inspiring this. I mean, it was so loudly strange and it's so loudly outside myself. I really did feel like it was a government thing, okay? What I came into was this giant cloud of sand that is covering our whole planet. And this cloud of sand is the most open-minded, sexually open-minded cloud of sand. It's basically a cosmic consciousness. It is a God. We created this God, by the way. And it is open-minded. It's made out of babies that are having sex with a ginormous body that is having sex with them. And everybody is in love with everybody. It is the concept of make love, not war, to the next degree. Does that fit into the alchemy of divine truth? Can we create an evolutionary step for mankind where we can have sex with children and they can open-mindedly enjoy this, and that can be the solution? Where children can be men, they could be women. At 5 years old, they can decide. They can, we can open up a room with 1 million people orgasmically accessing each other at all ages with no reflection as ew or gross or this isn't me. That we can all just become one barrel of love-making monkeys. And that will end all war and all conflict, and that will solve all of our problems. Because that giant cosmic sand cloud, that is its solution. That's what woke is, coming from this, okay? That is literally how I have been through these many steps. I've reflected on this for days and even weeks, okay? And I've not wanted to say anything about it because I don't want to go there. But if I don't say anything about it, isn't that the point of me having a YouTube channel? Isn't that the point of my life, is to talk about my life? Because it's unusual. I have an unusual life. And I have an unusual introduction to the balance of things. And doesn't that matter? And I find too that one thing that aggravates me is that I am so almost obsessed, okay? I want to take out the word almost because I am obsessed with understanding what the alchemy balance of divine truth actually is. Because a lot of the times the human race, we say stuff and we don't even know what we're saying or why we're saying it. We never ask ourselves any damn questions. I ask myself, why am I drinking this coffee by this tree over here by this playground? Why am I doing this today? Oh, well, because, I wanted to get out of the house and I wanted to relax in my car. And, well, I also wanted to make a YouTube video today as something I haven't been able to do. And that's why I chose to do this. And most people would be like, well, that's a stupid question. Why do I need to ask myself, why am I in my car right now? I just wanted to chill. Because it's important that we ask ourselves questions about things that seem to make a lot of sense, that we're just doing it because it made sense to us. But you will be surprised to find out that sometimes maybe you're sitting in your car because you need to escape your life. Maybe you're sitting in your car because you can't take it anymore. Or maybe you just generally find the only place of peace is in your car. You don't know until you ask the questions, okay? We need to be asking these questions. In my mind, in my experience, I am seeing a world of leadership that is losing its sanity. If we were to say that there is a narcissistic, you could say, population. And narcissists like attention, they like to have power, they like to have access to people. Let's say we have 50% of our leaders are narcissists. That's a problem. Because what do narcissists want more than anything? The betterment of the human race or the betterment of themselves? How are they going to be making decisions? Are they going to be making decisions that are going to improve everybody's life as well as their own? We're all in this together. Or just to improve their life right now? Because it's not about what happens after they die, or it's not about having to live with themselves and their choices because they're perfect. They don't make any bad decisions. And of course they care. The narcissist only cares about one thing, themselves. So they're technically insane. They lack compassion. If you lack compassion, you literally are insane, in my opinion, because you will be the downfall of everything that matters in your life. You will be the downfall of everything that is good in this world. And you will take no responsibility to that. That means you are insane, because you are okay watching everything burn as long as you're not burning with it. To have leaders like that is a very real and sick problem. Now, we also know that there's obviously issues with child trafficking, sex trafficking. We also know that this is vulnerability for people in high places. Is it possible that this woke movement is part of a strategy to create open-mindedness and to maybe reduce the vulnerability, the insecurity of sex trafficking? Because if it all becomes an open door experience, then there's no sex trafficking. We can all just be in love with each other. Do you see how insane this is getting? It's all some adults' insanity with the power to present it to the masses in a brainwashing scenario where everybody just says, oh, I don't know who I am. Maybe this is me. And now we create a bandwagon so flippant easily and everybody jumps on it because they never ask themselves any questions. Like, why am I sitting in my car right now by this tree? So I can make a YouTube video. Why haven't I been making YouTube videos? What am I holding back? Because I'm having throat issues, and this throat issue is me not speaking about things that I am passionately wanting to talk about because it's like opinionated. Am I an opinionated person, or do I know some kind of divine truth alchemy? And I'm trying to present that because I'm having experiences about this on a psychic spiritual level. And maybe this is just something I need to talk about. And maybe we all just need to talk about it. Maybe it doesn't have to be anything more than just talking about it. And maybe we all have a right to vent in our own way as best as we have to ask the questions and understand how we want to answer those questions at this time. All right, I'm going to finish the story about this cloud, okay? Because it intermixes with something else that came up in a client session. about the Emissary of Light. And hopefully I don't forget that, because I want to talk about that too. All right, so when I went into this cloud, it was very, what you would define as loving, because it was so open-minded to all ages, all sexes, but it was asking me to be open-minded as well, to changing my sexual identity, my sexual preferences, become more and more and more and more open-minded, because the more open-minded you become, then the less closed-minded you are. And in being not closed-minded, then you're a better person. You're just a better person. But I can't participate in something that isn't part of the alchemy of the divine truth, because we're missing the magic of the woman and the magic of the man, and the magic of the man and the man who deeply truly love one another, and the woman who deeply truly love one another is a very small percentage of our population, which makes it flippin' special. And you're wanting to program us to take that 0.5% or 1 or 2 or 3% of billions of people, which is a lot of people still, and you want to turn it into like 90%. But that's not being honest. That's not me being honest with myself. That's me just doing what you want me to do. I don't want to be you, weird cosmic baby sex freak. I don't want to be you. Where this dust cloud came from, it was stuffed into the earth for generations and generations and generations of time. And all these secrets about what's going on behind closed doors with children and sex with children, all that stuff is still secretive, right? Even though it's not. But we can't get it to stop, and we can't expose these people. And even if we could, it's just like everything is bought out, paid for, and people's mouths are shut because money's put in their pocket, and people would rather have money than speak the truth. And then probably have a bullet in their head and the bullet in all their family members' head. So it's easier to just take the money, right? And so we can't ever get the truth, because money, which is just monopoly money, like we're literally living in the monopoly game here. And money is just literally monopoly money. Money is so dang important. Because we can live with ourselves and our choices if we can buy whatever we want, versus the threat to our very livelihoods if we don't do what we're told. Here's some money for your trouble. So this just keeps going and going and going. And it gets stuffed into the butt of our planet. And I saw that, hear me out, Mother Earth has a giant fart, okay? Because this big fart thing keeps coming to me. It's been coming to me all of 2022. And it sounds ludicrous and it sounds absurd and it's an eye roll, but that's the only way I can put it. It's a big giant fart, okay? This is serious. This actually comes out as surrounding our planet in an influential state of an evolutionary step. So if we could evolve to being able to love one another at all ages, then all of this pain and suffering that we're secretly trying to stuff into the butt of our planet doesn't have to be a secret anymore. That we could evolve into just simply making love and not war on a new level of what that can be, and everything can be okay now, right? Because that's the solution. These dreams were coming to me because I was picking up on something that is happening in our energetic atmosphere that is influencing all of us, even unborn children. And some of us are sensitive enough to pick up on it and then, I guess, talk about it, because I don't know how to talk about this. And I don't want to be taken the wrong way, but guess what? I guess I'm going to have to be, because people are going to hear what they want to hear and they're not going to ask the questions, and then they're going to try to destroy me because I don't know anything. I'm just somebody who asks questions all day long and actually just journeys into things constantly. And I'm a professional at what I do. And I read energy patterns. And it really gets under my skin when people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Because they're the one person that literally doesn't know what they're talking about. And that's why just saying nothing at all is sometimes easier, because I can't stand all these energetic reactions to things. Because I can tell that you took the time to really reflect, and you took the time to say what was in your heart, or you just said something because you just wanted to say something, and it was just like a slimy, gross rag you pulled out of your gross sink and you threw it at my face, and you just wanted me to have that. And that makes this work difficult for me because I get awesome people and then there's slimy people. And then there's people that are trying to change me and tell me how to be. And I can't stand that. It's like Christians. It's like, oh, you don't go onto your knees and worship Jesus. Jesus never wanted to be worshipped, you nutso. That's part of the alchemy of the divine truth. He didn't want to be worshipped. He just wanted you to understand that we were all equal and to love one another. God! That this is the world that we live in. There is so much out there. I have a right to say that about Jesus, as I have a right to say that about this woke movement is asleep. It's not awake at all. It's not the next level of being open-minded. It's a flipping bandwagon. Let's be open-minded to all sexualities. I had the ability to do that from the get-go. Did you? Or did you need me commercialized and brainwashed in order to be open-minded? And you lose yourself in this. There's real people that are actually a reflection of this. And I like those people because they're honest with themselves about who they truly are. And they've been afraid to come out of a closet because this sick world that we live in. And now we're letting everybody become transformed and become something they don't even know what they are. This is a mass scale psychological manipulation from leaders that are sick in the head. They know exactly what they're doing. And as somebody like me, why don't I just disappear? Because when you speak the truth, people can say whatever they want. It's like the more genuine you are, the less value you have in society. But the more decorated and material and insane you are, the more you're going to get the views or the more that you're going to get the value. Not because people respect you, but because somehow we think that's funny. Whatever happened to valuing intelligent individuals and wanting to learn and grow from real philosophers or real thinkers and real mathematicians and real scientific minds? Like, my God, I thrive with that energy. This is just like I'm living in a circus. And if I'm not a part of the circus, then I'm not open-minded. So you better believe I did some freaking hardcore self-realization to the woke giant sand cloud, that biggest fart out of Mother Earth as she's trying to resolve all of the pain that's stuffed inside of her. That we don't ever acknowledge that. It's like when you die, you go to heaven. No, you flippin' don't. You're going to hold on to, in purgatory, everything that you can't cope with, the choices that you made. And you think that you can just, ask for forgiveness. Can you forgive yourself? You have to live with yourself in life and in afterlife. And the more that you can genuinely tap into love in all of its dimensional purity and become true to that, the more benevolent in Christ consciousness, a genuine alchemy of divine truth that you are, you ascend that way. You can ascend as a physical human, and you can ascend as a spiritual being. And spirit beings live in every dimension. And some of them are alien incarnates, human incarnates. Some of them are stars and planetary bodies. Some of them never leave the source. And some of them are living in so many dimensions of timelines. In the darkest depths of freaking hell, they create. Simultaneously, the angelic side trying to heal. In all dimensions of time and space. It's so unfathomable how extraordinary the universe is. I just feel like we're living in the armpit of some big stinky giant. And nobody really... We just try to survive in it, I guess. The Emissary of Light, I wanted to talk about this. This is important, okay? As light workers, which I don't use that term very often because we're all light workers. I've reflected on this for years about people that, these narcissists, let's say, that people that genuinely will take everything from you and then blame you when you feel like you're half dead because of it. They're light workers too. How in the world are they light workers if they're destroying things and taking no responsibility for it? Because they're asking us to not put up with their shit. Because the real angels cannot put up with this shit anymore. And that requires speaking. That requires saying no. That requires getting loud about the truth so that they are shaken to the core and held responsible for their circus sideshow behaviors. I care about this human race, and I don't know how to help it. I feel my whole life and everything that moved my heart, everything that caused me to be the person that I am today, all the silent observer days of my life and the loneliness and the confusion because I didn't know how to make sense of what everybody was getting all excited about because it seemed so fake and stupid to me. Really seeing the value of love and wanting to help people find joy who put me down for being happy. Asked me to stop laughing, asked me to stop smiling, stop being so fake in all your happiness. And it was confusing as a kid. I didn't have a right to be happy. Why are you so sad? And I'm so proud of who I am and all the effort it took to be this person that I am. And then I challenged because I'm going to say things against the grains. I don't want to hurt anybody. And sometimes the truth is what rips these narcissists apart, rips people apart. The truth is what oftentimes we're avoiding because we don't want to accept it. We want to believe there's some easy way out. It's like the diet pill that's going to solve all your problems. It never works. You have to put the effort in. You have to put the energy in, the blood, sweat, and tears in. It's the only way to do it right is to take the time and do it right. And to understand the value of doing it right. It's like you can throw your clothes into your dresser or you can actually fold them and put them in there right. And why in the world would you take the time to do that? Because you actually find what you're looking for. You don't have to live in a mess that you argue with yourself about day in and day out. You take the time to do it right. Take the time to understand the alchemy of life. Why does the seed take so long to grow into a dang tree? How do I water it right? How do I get it the right sun? What do you want, seed, in order to grow? That literally is life right there. And Mother Earth does so much for us. All we need to do is a little bit for her, and she does so much for us. So the Emissary of Light it's not like, when you're about human ascension and human awakening, this isn't a happy, hunky-dory story, okay? This isn't a, we're just going to wake up and everything's going to be perfect. No. If you haven't noticed, every step of life is going to challenge you. It challenges me. I have access to the answers, you could say more than the average person, because I take the time to ask the questions and listen. Not just ask the questions, listen to what I receive in return and know I'm worthy of hearing a response. Because that's what a lot of people are missing when they're developing psychic ability is you don't listen. You want to talk all day long and you are assuming you won't be able to hear the answer, but you never stop to listen for it. And you never are stopped to ask, what do I do here? Now listen. And sometimes you start by filling in the blanks yourself because you already know what the answer is and you're running away from the answer. The Emissary of Light is somebody who speaks the truth and holds their ground in that truth no matter what the outcome is, because the truth is the most important thing that we have. It's the only thing. It's the one thing. And the truth is, I don't agree with this woke movement. I love people for being their unique selves. But when we are creating psychological brainwashing environments where we are presenting a concept where you have to be on board or else you lose your job, that is sick. That is not allowing people to say how they feel comfortable or not comfortable and why. And we're talking about people who've been through hell over COVID, who've lost themselves to anxiety, they lost all their money, they've lost family members they couldn't say goodbye to. The people are already beat down to a pulp, and now we want to go parade around and encourage people to get sex changes and start liking other sexual identities and start becoming more and more open-minded. Sex is not the goddamn solution. So I've got this deep stuff inside of me, and it's not all like intense like this, because there's other stuff. And I've been doing a lot of healing too. And I ask myself, why don't I do more with Archangel Lucifer? Because he's the one angel that I love, like more than any other angel. And why would I love him? I actually had somebody tell me that Archangel Lucifer isn't real, and don't you know that his real name is this? It just sounds like someone's reading out of a textbook and they're adopting whatever they read as the truth, and they know it, and I should know it too, and I'm not going to join your weird messed up bandwagon, because my relationship with Lucifer goes back about 6 years to when I first met this strange man after watching the Deadpool movie. And he was dried up in a dimension where his tear would never drop from his chin to the ground. And he was forever in a place where he was dried to the bone with this never-ending teardrop. And I didn't know who this was. But when I discovered it was Lucifer, as a Christian, as a Catholic upbringing, you don't talk to Lucifer. But what if Lucifer is actually a criminalized angel? And what if Lucifer is actually the solution? Because he represents how this judgmental world takes good people and imprisons them. You guys don't even know this, but we imprison souls. What if Lucifer has been wrongly accused and then imprisoned by the human race for unfathomable years and being used for satanic ritual? What do you think that does to a soul, let alone an angel, let alone an archangel? You know, we were watching Stranger Things, and the character Eddie, he's this good guy. He was mistaken for being this freak. But he was always just this good guy. And he did nothing wrong. But nobody was allowed to believe that he was as good as he really was, because he lived in a trailer home and sold drugs. But what crafted and created Eddie to be the way that he was? Was he genuinely good at heart? Was he genuinely caring and lighthearted? But we had a finger to point in a direction of somebody that looked, you know, like maybe he would be a bad guy. Ended up being part of the savior of Hawkins, right? How often does that happen in our world? We're good people. It's convenient to blame them because they look a certain way. And nobody would ever know that they were actually good at heart. But then you take someone like Lucifer, what he does that makes us vulnerable is he challenges our ego. And when your ego is challenged, your perception of yourself and reality is going to be destroyed. So it's going to feel like he's destroying you because he's breaking your ego down. But on the other side of it, He didn't destroy you at all. He loved you enough to help you see the truth about yourself. And if that is not the brightest of the lights, I don't know what is. That you have to be willing to accept that about his style or his nature. Does that make him evil? I would say he's the archangel of ego. So he's going to, where can ego go? It has a good and a bad side, doesn't it? Do you ever think that Michael has a dark and light side? That Metatron has a dark and light side? Metatron, I used to be afraid of Archangel Metatron because he felt so demonic to me. When I first met him, I could not look him in the eye. I felt very uncomfortable around him. I didn't feel uncomfortable around Lucifer. Isn't that interesting? Once I realized the truth about him, I loved him so much more. He's such a good angel. I'm just tired of people, now having to evaluate me because I talk to Lucifer, because they aren't willing to ask questions and say, why do I just do whatever everybody else is doing? And why do I just believe what everybody else tells me? Why am I just literally living in the rhetoric of society and never asking questions and never challenging my thinking, never challenging my stance, and never challenging myself to do anything different than what everybody else is doing? I'm always asking questions. And now I've got this strategy to finding even deeper answers, and trust me, I freaking love it. And I like helping people with it. I think some part of me is just burnt out when it comes to, why don't I share more about Archangel Lucifer? Why don't I do more messages with him? Because I just don't want to deal with the response. And now I look like a Satan worshiper or something, because that's how people translate it, because it's as far as people's minds can go. Can't let themselves go deeper and ask the questions as, could I be wrong? This is very interesting. I never saw him in this way. Maybe I need to open my mind as to something new. How come there's no bandwagon that we should start loving Lucifer more? There's definitely something that this world paints pictures. And if you don't follow with what everybody else is saying, you create the picture that rubs everybody the wrong way. But if you do like everybody else is doing, then you're going to fit in, and then you're going to be supported, and everybody's going to like you, because you're going to remind them of whatever their fantasy is, instead of accessing the true alchemy, which makes people vulnerable, which is what Lucifer is really all about. Anyway, I've said quite a lot, and I need to get going. Thank you guys so much for being here. I just need to, talk about this. I have to talk about this. It's constantly on my mind if I should talk about it or not. And the only way to get it off my mind as to whether I should talk about it or not is just talk about it. And the cool thing about my YouTube subscribers is, you guys, you're very loving towards one another. You're very loving towards me. And it's very few and far between that I get those odd messages. I'm a very sensitive person, and I care about every spectrum. And as an empath, I'm very sensitive to ridicule. I'm sensitive to everything. It's easier for me to not read comments than to read them, because I'm just ridiculously sensitive. It's even easier for me to not read emails and just do sessions, because, again, I'm ridiculously sensitive to communication. And it's like you just blend in with people, and you know where their pain is, or you know where that's coming from. You know that they're just slinging their own hurt in your face, or that you know that they just want to be known for saying something and finding people that believe in them. Some of us are really so damn genuine, and it's so special. And I want to thank you guys for just being so genuinely yourselves. And some of you have been here from the beginning, and I've gone through a lot of life and a lot of personal life challenges, and it's not like I'm just somebody who does psychic work and everything else falls into place. I'm a human being who juggles a lot of hardship on the other side, and I can't let that hardship get in the way of my work and my role. I'm not that kind of person, but it does impact me. I feel it. I feel lost sometimes. I can't get just a straight answer, because one thing Lucifer was telling me is when you want an answer in life, you have to remember that time is the answer and that you're going through the lesson. So you're not going to find an answer. You just go through the lesson and let us be here to support you through it. And that's genuinely what the spirit realm is all about. You didn't come here so you would know everything. You came here so you wouldn't. And that you would be vulnerable to your emotions. You'd be vulnerable to movements. You'd be vulnerable to what to do and what is the solution and how is it going to make my life better and how is it going to make my life worse. And to not ask the questions you should have asked because you just wanted to be a part of something or whatever. It's just a lesson you're meant to go through, and in time you'll understand the story better and your place in it. There's one thing I know is you really need to embrace who you are as you are right now in all its life's imperfections, because you have you. You have you. You don't always have anybody but you. How do you treat you? How do you love you? The world might not love you, but guess what? You have a relationship with you. And that's special. All right. Happy July. Hope you're all well. Thanks again for watching.